Hello, and firstly, welcome to the presentation pitch for Defy's iced coffee. We're all very excited to take you through this presentation as we discuss the transition from Defy's previous packaging of HDPE to the new environmentally friendly PET packaging.
Using the target market depicted within the client brief, as well as further research that has been conducted, we concluded that the ideal target audience is both males and females aged from 18 to 35. They're environmentally conscious, they live in a major city, and of course they love iced coffee. To narrow this down further, 3 target audience profiles and mood boards have been created in order to maximize the efficiency of the campaign and ensure that the correct audience is being reached. These will all be available within the campaign report.
The next section covers our strategy statement. This section includes the brand description. We will look into the consumer benefits of purchasing the product and their experience. We will touch on the various queue options that we consider to implement and their relevant messages. Finally, culminating in our brand positioning overview. Our campaign will rely on communicating the consumer benefits. The key benefits are to drive a feel-good factor for the consumer, to develop a physical connection with the product, through education around Defy's transformation to an eco-friendly future, becoming an industry leader. Our research suggests Defy has numerous personality traits, and we'll go over some of the key themes in this presentation. Having a Defy iced coffee is a purely personal experience for our consumers. The surprising nature behind each bottle is everlasting. As a product, it replaces the daily coffee experience, which appeals to people on the go and in the end denotes satisfaction. Our campaign will leverage off the existing Defy business cues. Defy adopts a clear message as a brand, and it drives its appeal. We will utilize the brand's cues to expand our reach into the existing market. Defy is well established in its perception, so we will continue to use the classic shaped bottle, coffee beans, and our new slogan as key cues. Our campaign will be based on a recycling competition leveraged off the slogan, shake, squash, recycle. Our concept is based on the slip theory that utilizes participation to really drive adoption. Our competition will provide consumers an opportunity to be rewarded with free drinks based on how much they recycle, and in turn this will drive the brand's key message. We will use out-of-home and social media to support the campaign. Our brand mapping research confirms our target should be people who associate with young, mobile, and leaders. This view is supported by our personality mapping, which suggests Defy should be fresh and an exciting brand. We need to consider these positives when assessing our competition who has not yet taken a step towards our brand's intended future.
We know that getting consumers to become physically involved with this campaign will drive increased interaction as the message spreads organically in conjunction with our paid marketing efforts. We're providing an exciting and motivating opportunity for consumers who currently love the product and those who will come to love it after being introduced to it through this campaign to win a free cycle, that is, a free bottle of Defy when they shake, squash and recycle a certain number of bottles as proven through their collection of bottle lids. The tone of this campaign is always enthusiastic and encouraging, even while the messaging stays succinct and really to the point, because we're excited and we want consumers to be excited about the product too. Some of what we would call the campaign's mandatories have already been discussed, such as the brand and the campaign's tone, as well as the competition's call to action for consumers. But there are other aspects of this type of campaign that are also considered mandatories as well. Given that our campaign involves a competition, also known as a trade promotion, it must comply with all consumer protection and privacy laws, such as the Australian Consumer Law and Privacy Act. All guidelines and terms and conditions must be published clearly, for example on the Defy website, and consumers need to be clearly advised as to what will happen with any personal information that they submit as part of the campaign. At the very minimum, all conduct relating to the competition from the brand or agency must not be misleading, deceptive, or provide any misrepresentations of the brand, the product, or the prizes. Essentially, all expectations for any party must be laid out ahead of time to avoid any surprises.
Creative execution for this campaign will be simple, impactful, promote recall, and be more than just copy. It will promote audience involvement. Our target audience are busy individuals. They're busy working, keeping up with the latest trends, and busy expanding their knowledge in sustainability. Therefore, they don't have time to read a roadside billboard or a social media sponsored post with lengthy copy. In order to grab their attention and get our message across and make it one they will remember, we have chosen to use the tagline Shake, Squash, Recycle. Firstly, let's look at out of home. Out of home is described as any type of advertising that you cannot see or hear when you're at home. A lot of out of home advertising comes in the form of billboards, transit, and street furniture. These assets are seen regularly by people on their daily commute to work. In Australia, 9.2 million people commute for work. The majority of those people use public transport and some drive or use both. The average commuting distance is 16 kilometres and 78% of over 18-year-olds reported seeing billboards in the last week. Combining these statistics with the creative freedom of out of home and the opportunity for run-on or bonus activity, we are certain that this type of media is not only the most effective for the Defy brand, but also very sustainable, as digital billboards do not require production and have zero wastage. Secondly, we'll look at social media. 6 out of 10 people over the age of 18 check their social media more than 10 times a day, spending an average of 2 hours and 22 minutes scrolling, liking, commenting, and buying. From that data alone, it's obvious why we would want to use social media as an advertising medium for Defy. But further to this, certain platforms, including Facebook and Instagram, allow brands to not only interrupt people's feeds, but interrupt a particular audience's feed based on age, location, and search history. You can also pay to appear in someone's feed multiple times a week or a day. So there is a large amount of reach and frequency associated with social media advertising. Unlike other mediums, such as print and radio, you can almost hand select the people you want to advertise to at the exact time that you want. And most importantly, it is one of the most cost-effective advertising platforms available. Although we are using two separate mediums, the message will remain consistent across all platforms. We chose to use an effective headline that will stand out to people. Shake, squash, recycle. It uses less than 8 words of copy, it's straight to the point, and it comes from the customer's viewpoint. There's no technical jargon, and it's just natural language. The most effective advertising campaigns use less than 8 words and focus on an attention-grabbing image that the target audience will see regularly and be able to recall at a later date without a visual cue or prompt.
When implementing any kind of campaign or marketing strategy, it's essential to be able to evaluate just how effective that campaign is at meeting targets. As discussed in the campaign plan, there are several clear KPIs that we would be looking to meet at the conclusion of this campaign. Perhaps most importantly, the company's current sales growth trajectory of 7% year on year must be maintained. To evaluate this, sales figures will be analysed at 6 months and 12 months post-campaign. Secondly, Defy's key image metrics, including statements such as Defy is a brand that is socially responsible and does the right thing, as well as Defy is a brand I would recommend to others, should increase by 5% and 2% respectively amongst the target market. To evaluate this, market research will be undertaken via the use of surveys with consumers meeting the target market criteria. Finally, while we will be presenting an in-depth understanding of the budget breakdown and investment required for such a strategy in our forthcoming campaign plan, we would like to present a brief investment summary as part of this presentation to give an approximation of how funds will be allocated. As you can see, the majority of the budget will be allocated to the out-of-home advertising, which includes the digital billboards and advertising in busy transport hubs. Simultaneously, paid advertising will be run via Facebook and Instagram on social media to complement the organic posts we'll be encouraging our consumers to create. An initial investment will also need to be made in the creation of the graphics and designs to be used throughout the campaign, which is just a once-off creation and licensing fee. Please review our campaign plan for a greater level of exploration and accurate costing quotes at time of publication.